Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, I wanted to talk about these holistic skills. So, I'm sure some of you read them, maybe how I read them or differently, but I ended up asking COD CS exactly how they work. And to my surprise, they are how I thought I read them, which was nice to get a confirmation. And we're going to get into all of that and how this could be a massive impact on the game. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us a because I've said a lot of things. Okay, so let's do a brief read here, and then we're going to talk about what this change means for the game, what this could mean for future changes as well, now that this is kind of being rolled out as a front-running precedent, really to be set for the game's landscape. Okay, so as part of the upcoming V1.0.3 update, which is kind of nice to know that this came out 3 days ago, and the last update that dropped was on the 21st. So that could mean that we might be getting V1.08. I mean, if you look at the time here between 0.37 and 0.36, it was 319. Technically, I guess you could say 14 here because this was probably it. But so you have what, a month or a month and a week? If you look at the difference between 213, this was about a month between those. You are from 35, right? If you look at 0.34, 111. So it's a month to a month and a week, right? Maybe it might end up being. So I imagine possibly by the end of May, we might be getting some information on 0.38. However, let's go. So it says, in order to make non-combat heroes more useful within the game, we have added a new category skill titled Holistic Skills, and have changed a number of gathering, engineering, and peacekeeping related skills to fit this new category. When you unlock a hero's holistic skill, their skill effects will apply to all of your legions, regardless of whether or not the hero has been deployed, and the skill effect stacks too. So when I read this is why I wanted to double check it, because the way I read it, I was interpreting it as, okay, well, any skill effects that are gathering, engineering, or peacekeeping related will basically be passively applied on your account, meaning that any troop or march, aka legion, with any hero, no matter what tier they are, what type they are, anything, will automatically have all of those passive buffs applied to them as long as you have the skill upgraded and or maxed out, right? And then whatever the percentages will be applied. That's how I interpreted it. Now, for a moment, I thought, okay, this could be pretty massive. We'll get to that in a moment. So let's go ahead and continue reading. So it says, of course, gathering, engineering, and peacekeeping heroes will still enjoy bonuses from their talents when engaged in their respective actions. And overlapping buffs from holistic skills will make these bonuses even stronger. Okay, so this part is basically saying that any of these specific heroes will still get to enjoy the bonuses from their talent. So this could be something like the additionals, right? As an example, maybe not just the standard, right? So an example would be if you have an additional here, but not just the general gather speed increase. I believe that's what they're hinting at on that one. Because it says in the respective actions, and any overlapping buffs from holistic skills will make these bonuses even stronger, unless maybe they mean whatever the bonuses on that particular hero will just be an add-on. But again, now that I think about it, I probably should have asked that question as well. But let's give an example here, and then I'm going to tell you what COD CS told me. So it says, see below for planned changes subject to revision. Indus's hero skill Earth and Balance will become a holistic skill. Previously, increases Legion gather speed by 10 up to 20%, and would gather speed by an additional 4 to 10%. Now it's going to go 1 to up to 7% when awakened, and then 6 up to 20% when awakened. So you could see that they've given the additional percentage more, and they've decreased the gather speed here. So essentially, from what I understand, this is based on what I asked them. I said, okay, well, and this is the answer. So I asked them the question of, if I took two heroes, as an example, we'll use these two here. So we'll use Indus and Naren, or Narenans. So if I take we'll go off now. the current gather speed maxing at 7%. So I said, well, if I have the skill maxed out and these two heroes are awakened, does that mean that I will have 14% gather speed passive on my account? Meaning that even if I sent out, as an example, like a Goresh Skogul, they will have 14% gather speed on them? The answer they gave me, yes. That's exactly how it works. Okay, making a little bit of sense now. And then I also asked them as well, and maybe I guess this kind of answers it for me. I said, well, if I take the additional percentage on the gold gather speed, and again, maybe this could be a written error or maybe a typo, or there just needs to be additional text clarification. But I did ask, and I said, well, what about the additional percentages, right? So as an example of, let me find something, so wood. So if I use Pan and Indus as an example. So Indus gets 20% additional wood gather speed when awakened. Pan gets 15% additional. So I said, does that mean that if I have them both awakened, will any hero I send out have plus 35% additional wood gathering speed? And then I add that on top of the general universal gather speed? And the answer I got was yes. It's exactly how it works. Okay, now that makes a little bit more sense. I just wish they would have given an example here. And I hope they do whenever they make the next announcement, or when they do the update preview video, because we know they most likely will. I very much hope that they include this area and they just give a very basic example of like, here's two heroes that don't have the same additional gather speed. But their general gather speed will increase, right? And then here's two heroes that have the same additional gather speed for a specific resource. This is what it looks like when that increases. And they show you where that visually would be shown on your account. And then hopefully they'll do the same thing for peacekeeping and engineering, right? That's what I hope they do. That is the way I understand it. For how it has been explained to me, I don't know if anyone else has got another explanation, but that's what I asked. That's the answer I received. Now let me get into how massive this potentially is. Everything's additive and it stacks. Technically, you would be gathering at a much higher rate than before with the holistic. From the way I understand it, you would be adding in everything. So as an example, if we just use the first few, look at universal. So that would be, 7%, right? Narinin, 7, that's 14%. I think the highest gather speed is what, 20 or 25? So we're at 14%. I look at Terra for gather, that's 7. Now we're at 21%, right? Pan universal gather, 7. So I'm at 28%. Now we're already much higher than anyone else, right? Kella gather is 5. So now I'm at 33%, right? Okay, so we're at 33%. Increased gather speed 5. So I'm at 38% now. General gather, we're at 5. So what did I say, 38? Now we're at 43. Ordo, no gathering there. I don't think there's any gathering, no gathering. Legions, yeah. Okay, so that means that you would now be at 43 universal percentage points passively across your account. That I actually think is a massive win for the game as a whole. Again, if it works out the way that I got the response and from how I understand it, this would be a massive game change win. And so now you're going from basically having 20% max gathering to having 43% passive gathering, plus that doesn't include the additional resource gathering that you would get for that specific resource. So if anything, they have increased gathering speed by at least around 200 to 300% across the board. I mean, listen, if that's the case, and hopefully the way we understand it is correct, in addition to what COD CS replied to me with, this is something that I think the COD community has been asking for and has been wanting for so long. And again, if it is the way that we think it is, then I think that this could not have been a better change for the game to have increased gathering speeds applied, because I think that's going to allow for us to see a lot more PvP out on the field. And it's also going to help with more constant resource gathering during fighting times in any active war zones. Those are my thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think this is a win? Is it not a win? Do you find it that Call of Dragon, because they're taking a big shift here, going away from predominantly what we've seen in Kingdom Builders, where you've always, for the most part, at least the games I've played, have had gathering heroes, and you'd have to use those specific heroes in most cases if you want to get max gathering potential out of your marches in the field, versus using PvP heroes where you wouldn't be. So not only is it like a pretty big landscape change, but they're like really kind of swinging for the fences with this one. And I actually think that it could work out really well. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's it for me. As always, until next time, we will catch you later.